We're doing a serious business right now.
Yeah.
You know? But I do think this would be cool, bro, to kind of document our the projects via podcast. You know?
Yeah. It's cool to just to document things in video at all, I think is good. Just to have like behind the scenes footage like you were doing. Starting to like set up the camera while we're doing our sessions so that we can get some of that behind the scenes footage out of it. You know, not all of it's going to be good and like worth using and posting, but just getting in the habit of starting to do it, we can get better at it. You know.
Yep.
So that's
because we do it anyway.
Yeah.
And for some reason, like this generation is like if you didn't film it, it didn't happen. So if you did it and you didn't get it on camera, you just didn't do it. Mm-hmm. So now it's like, bro, we're putting the camera up no matter what, all the time because we're doing the work.
Yeah.
So put the camera up, you know?
Yeah, eventually I'm trying to just get some cameras mounted up in the studio that just stay up.
Yeah.
Like on some security cam footage shit. We'll just keep it, like anytime we're in the studio, we'll just roll all camera angles at the same time the whole time we're here. And then we'll just have, I feel like that would take up so much space and memory though.
Bro, if you willing to do that editing, then by all means, because you would get some epic shit.
Yeah.
You would get some epic footage angles from everything. You could zoom in just about anywhere.
See, but I think too, just going about it, you'd know, like as the person editing, you'd know after the session, you'd be like, this is a session I need to go back to and like look at the footage and get things out of. Like you'll have days where you're not looking at the footage right away. Mm-hmm. You know, you'll just tuck it away for later use and see if it's good later on or something. Right. You just keep shooting. Buy 100 memory cards and just keep shooting.
Mm-hmm. Me and Tanner had some moments in this motherfucker that you know aren't on film. Like some you're vibing out on a beat or some shit and just a freestyle session. Mm-hmm. Just a full on songs and just several songs over the same beat, bro.
Right.
Because Tanner will just make a new hook. We'll do this one hook for a minute and then 10 minutes later it's a new hook. You know what I'm saying? So now it's a new vibe. Same
just
beat,
trying out new things all the time.
Yeah, I mean, so it's like, bro, like imagine just having all that shit on camera though.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I'm trying to.
Mons is the same way.
Oh, bro.
Yeah, he's just freestyling
get back in here
all the
Mons.
time. He needs to come back out here.
Bro, he does. He does.
This is a peer pressure moment for Mons.
This is,
social
bro.
media.
Yeah, tell him, bro. Tell him.
Get your ass back out here.
Shit, you got us over here you came out here and made a banger with us in 5 minutes and then left. We got a 5-minute banger. And then, like, as is it from him. Mons is crazy with it, bro.
He's
crazy with it. Yeah. He is, bro. So, yeah, man, I wanted to, for a minute, talk about you getting into hip-hop, coming from Montana, being born and raised here. Like, you got the full record collection back here. You're clearly a student of hip-hop. Mm-hmm. So how does that come about? How does one authentically become a student of hip-hop, being so far away from what many would consider like the culture or where hip-hop is more kind of like prevalent?
Mm-hmm. I think it's you just have to want it.
Yeah.
And know where to look for it. I had a lot of friends growing up that were really into it, and they'd kind of like show me what they liked. You know, everybody has their own preference of what they like, but I was always drawn to like the 90s hip hop, boom bap, jazzy beats, shit like that, like Wu-Tang.
Yeah,
even like the even like the darker stuff, kind of like Wu-Tang, real gritty. Mm-hmm. And then like today's like Griselda records.
Oh yeah,
with like West Side Gun and Benny the Butcher. It's kind of like, it's still the same thing. I don't go out searching for music the same way that I do or did when I was younger. I definitely like have like certain things that I'm looking for
go-tos
now. Yeah. And I think that's how everybody kind of starts when they're trying to get into it and they're looking for records. They like don't necessarily know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
You're kind of you just go out there, and then as you go along and you meet other people that do it, or you know, now with the internet, you can see, like, watch The Alchemist and watch a master class of him talking about what he looked for when he goes through, you know, everybody has their different things that they're looking for. Me, I like listening to the records. I think listening through a record that you've never heard of from an artist you've never listened to at all can be either one of the best or underwhelming. It can either be one of like the best experiences or one of the most underwhelming experiences. Just like the search for like what the record even sounds like.
Yeah. It's tough making a good record, bro, that someone's going to thoroughly enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah. When you're just searching for vinyl records, you learn like what to pick up on based on like what you are searching for and what you like.
Yeah.
You can kind of start to pick up on what other people are looking for when they go out, you know, but you never really know what somebody else is. Look, there's not like a right or wrong way to do it necessarily to me. It's just all about preference. But I don't know, to get into record shopping, like the group of guys that I lived with in Bozeman first when I moved out here with Patch, Simon, Petey, Hemingway, those guys like kind of were into the same thing. Like they had record collection. We would sample records and make beats. So some of the first beats I ever worked on were just record samples that we pulled in. We'd sample it. We had like a MIDI keyboard, and they showed me Patch showed me how to use Ableton and chop samples on Ableton.
Oh shit! Excuse me.
You're good.
So Patch showed you how to.
Yeah, Patch
operate.
Patch was one of the first people that kind of let me hang out in the studio with him and just watch and ask questions and figure it out. And that helped a lot. Just being able to kind of sit in the studio and absorb what they were already doing.
Yeah.
Because that was the way I saw it when I was a kid, was they are already doing exactly what I want to be doing, you know, to a degree. So it's like the first step of the ladder. Like, you know, let's just watch and learn and absorb as much as I can in. And then go out and do it on my own.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's kind of, I think, what you have to do is just, you just have to do it yourself for a while to kind of find out what it is you like, what you want your sound to be, how you want to sound.
And what was that like doing out here? So like being on that trajectory of being really good at being a hip hop connoisseur, you know what I'm saying? What was that like out in Lewistown, right?
Oh man. It's tough because there's just like a community of people that don't like that kind of music. Yeah. That really, the only people that do out there for the most part are your own age. So like your friends, you know, people, there was like a certain age group of friends that were all listening to hip hop in some degree, depending on, you know, what it was that they liked. Some liked just the top stuff that was mainstream. Some liked the more underground stuff like MF Doom and Brother Ali and like Rhyme Sayers and people like that. Like there's a huge Rhyme Sayers following out here in Montana, which is really cool to see.
That's what I
And
felt.
I think it just like, it was probably the most prevalent in like the early 2000s, late 2000s. But like now it's like, everyone's still out here, but it's like, you just don't hear as time goes on and, you know, those people don't release music as much anymore. You have to like really be staying in it. If that's the kind of art you want to support, then you'll go find it. You know what I mean? So I think there's a large demographic of people out here who like hip hop music, but it's like just whatever's on the radio, mainstream, because that's what is mainstream now, is hip hop music.
Yeah.
And pop music, you know.
It's getting so popular to the point to where you're not surprised seeing it here, but like when you know, because it's trending. You know what I'm saying? But when you see people that are they're students of it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the tough shit. Like that's the shit that costs money usually. Like these records ain't free. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit takes space and it costs money. You got to keep them up. It gets cold out here. You got to keep them nice, bro. Like it's a lot, bro. Like that's why a lot of people don't have them. But what I have found is out here there are quite a few guys, kind of like Patch, kind of like you know, that have been just kind of tucked up in their, you know, basements, garages, attics, you know, wherever, just studying, honing in on the knowledge. Yeah. Like getting the knowledge, bro. Like, and then starting to create first. So kind of doing it that way, almost like the school route, rather than just jumping in saying, I do this.
Yeah.
You know, so I appreciate that.
Doing our homework. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the bit. I think that's kind of like a big thing for us. That's part of the culture, is doing your homework and learning like where it came from. Like, I don't know how many documentaries I've watched, and now new documentaries that have been coming out within the last 5 years that are now like focusing on like how hip hop started, where it came from and everything, was like exciting as fuck to be able to watch now. Cause growing up, you don't have a lot of those. You can't just go find it anywhere online. There's not a lot of people that are putting out documentaries like that. More recently, there are people focusing on hip hop, because I think because it is that like mainstream pop, but it's been there for a while. I think,
it's been there for a while now, but
it's been there like long enough that they're starting to do it now. You know,
to where it makes sense now. To where it's like, we got to have this because the kids are just interested in this shit now. The kids like hip hop now, so you got to have the documentaries of, you know, of even if you don't like Cardi B, you know, even if you don't like the, you know, the images of some of these artists, the kids in the culture right now are about them. Right. So it's like they want to learn about them. They want to know about them. You got to have that information there.
And I think the kind of music that we do, for the most part, like there's bits and pieces of it in the mainstream music, but I think it'll always kind of remain like a mostly underground thing. You have to know that it's even going on to know, to know
that's
that it's
the best
happening.
shit to me.
And it's kind of like, if you know, you know. Yeah. That's well, we kind of operate on that basis.
Yeah, bro, it's kind of like everything that you're a fan of. It's like even like the Rhyme Slayer shit. Like the best shit isn't the most known shit. You know what I'm saying? So like you can go get some really good shit. It won't be.
Never.
It's not, because it's so quality that usually it doesn't agree with the most people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just so. It's just direct.
I saw a video earlier today that I was watching where I think Andre 3000 was talking about it's timing.
Yeah.
Talent a little bit. Talent's not as important anymore. It's all like your timing and your work ethic and everything. Knowing the right people. Yeah. All of that can, if you're trying to get into that point, into the mainstream and really get those eyes on you, that's what it takes. Is like timing is everything. Timing is not like you could have the best artist putting in all this work and doing everything that they're supposed to be doing, but if the timing isn't right, it's just not going to work. It's not. Yeah. And that's,
I think we see that constantly.
So there is no right way. Yeah. You know what I mean? There's definitely wrong things to do. Like, don't do, you know what I mean?
There's definitely wrong things.
There's definitely things you shouldn't be doing and things you should be. But like, on a broad sense of it, like try everything, because one thing that worked for someone might not work for you, and something that worked for you might not work for somebody else. So that's kind of like, I think there's starting to become like a good outline of how to be an independent artist, but then you have to fill it in yourself with all like the content and everything. Yeah. And then choosing like how to cut your videos, or like how to mix and master your music. Do you want it to sound lo-fi, or do you want it to sound like really like detailed and surround sound, encase you in the music? It's all just a preference at this point, because it's all been done before. So it's like everybody's a tastemaker. What do you want yourself and your brand to sound like, look like, whatever? And if that's just, if you are a product of your environment. Yeah. So whatever you surround yourself with, that's what's going to come through.